Hello students, in this video we will discuss about the cell division type, that is meiosis. Yes, so in previous video we discussed regarding mitosis and its phases and also the significance of mitosis. Now one more important type of cell division, that is meiosis. It is somewhat we call it as a specialized cell division, we can say. It is also a kind of specialized cell division that reduce the chromosome number by half of its parent cell. So when you consider the parent cell, if it contains 46 number of chromosomes, the resulting cells, that's what we call daughter cells. So usually a result of one mitosis from one cell, so there is a 4 cells are formed, right? 4 cells, 4 haploid cells will be formed, right? So it's a parent cell, and there are 4 daughter cells are formed, 4 daughter cells. These 4 daughter cells are haploid in their chromosomal number. So in the first cell division, so here 2 times it will divide. So later on we will see the stages of this one. So what exactly the half of its parent, half of the chromosome numbers of its parent cell. See, if you consider this is the parent cell now, so here 46 chromosomes are there, and here the daughter cells are receiving half of its, means 23, here also 23, and again one more time it will divide. So at the end of this process of meiosis, so there is a 4 daughter cells are formed, as I mentioned here, 4 cells. These are the 4 daughter cells which are receiving 23, 23, 23 and 23 chromosomes. If you mention it is 2n diploid, this is the haploid and these are also haploid, right? So this is what here the meiosis. So we'll go through the details now. The meiosis occurs in mainly 2 stages, that is meiosis first and meiosis 2. So we'll go for details later on. So little more the regarding meiosis we will discuss. The meiosis occurs in meiosis occurs in germ cells. So germ cells means which are involved in the formation of gametes, right? So that is called meiocytes. The cells which undergo the meiosis are called meiocytes. What do you call meiocytes, right? The cells which undergo meiosis are called meiocytes. This germ cells or germinal epithelium which is present in the, so usually what we call gonads we can say. Where do you observe gonads means, in case of male we call it as testis, in case of female we call it as ovaries. Testis, can consider testis, a pair of testis and ovaries, right? So here the germinal epithelium is there, that is containing germ cells, and which is that cells are also called meiocytes because they undergo meiosis. This type of cell division is very specific and which takes place here in the germ cells, right? And it occurs during gametogenesis, in both plants and animals, right? The gametogenesis occurs during gametogenesis. What do you call? So the gametogenesis, meiosis is very specific, and which is occurs in during gametogenesis. This is a process, right? Gametogenesis is a process where formation of gametes. Process of formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis. This we will discuss the details in later videos, right? So now the it involves the uh, there are what you call as two uh, steps, so we can mention it as steps of meiosis. Steps in meiosis, steps which are involved in the meiosis, steps in meiosis, right? So first main two steps are there. Meiosis as meiosis first, meiosis first we can mention, and next meiosis 2. So in meiosis first also we observed that there are the karyokinesis and followed by cytokinesis. Here also the same thing, karyokinesis and followed by cytokinesis, right? So both meiosis and both meiosis, that means meiosis first, so meiosis second. So this is what somewhat in flow chart we can remember the steps. And so in detail when you go, the meiosis first includes, again there are phases. So first phase, what you call prophase. So prophase of meiosis first, so that's why we should mention it as meiosis first, right? Prophase first. And next metaphase first, anaphase first, and finally telophase first. These are the steps after that. So it undergo the cytokinesis, so then it enters the one more stage, that is the next division, that is called meiosis 2. So meiosis first is very specific here, so we can mention it as the reductional division. It's called the reductional I will mention here only reductional division, reductional cell division. Very important term, it is reductional division. And meiosis 2 is almost similar to the mitosis. It is referred as equational division, right? So this is what we should remember. Meiosis first indicates the reductional division, and meiosis 2 is the equational division, because as I mentioned already, the simple flow chart here. So if this parent cell undergo meiosis first, it will be reduced to its half of its parent cell, that is 23 number. That's also mentioned in this way, diploid, and this is become haploid, exactly half of its parent cell. The chromosome number it is 23 means, so when you consider homo sapien, the chromosome number is 46 in normal this thing. And here what we observe that the which is reduced to half of its parent cell, so that's what the reductional M1, that means meiosis 1 is a reductional division, and meiosis 2 here also, if you consider this is become parent cell for this one, okay? So that's why here meiosis 2 is become a equational division. In general meiosis is a reductional division, right? So exactly which step is reductional? First, meiosis first is a reductional division. So the meiosis first is reductional division we considered, because the diploid number of chromosomes is reduced to haploid, right? So now this flow chart we should understand little more. So here again we observed prophase is little more complex process here. So I'll mention here the steps involved in the prophase. Prophase is a complex here. When you compare to the mitosis, prophase is a complex one. So here the prophase includes, there are steps, there are sub phases we can say, which is divided into 5 phases. So I'll mention here that 5 phases. Leptotin, first one, leptotin. Next one is zygotin. Even leptonema, zygonema, like also we refer. Leptotin, zygotin, and third is pachitin or pakitin, so whatever you can pronounce, but you can spell it properly. Pachitin, right? Pachitin or pakitin. Next step is next one. So that is the diplotin, and the last one diakinesis. That's what we call the diakinesis, right? Diakinesis. These are the sequences you should remember. First one, leptotin, zygotin, and pachitin, diplotin, and diakinesis, right? So these are the steps which are the sub phases of prophase first, and this is what we observed here. Very important processes are takes place, that details we'll discuss later. Okay, so now the this flow chart we should remember. So once again you see this one, what is meiosis. So the meiosis is a specialized cell division where the chromosome numbers are reduced to half of its parent cell, and the result will be 4 haploid cells. That's what 4 haploid cells. The result will be 4 haploid cells, right? So next the occurrence, where it occurs. So it may occur in even plants also, animals also, right? The sexually producing animals, so what we call, or plants, shows that germ cells which are called meiocytes. So that's gonads we can say here. Gonads in case of plants, we refer the cones, or the what you call, yes, the flower having that's what the stamen and pistil or ovary we can say. But here exactly in case of animals, testis and ovaries we can mention here. So in these parts there is specific cells which are called meiocytes. These meiocytes undergo meiosis. This is what we call the meiocyte. This is, now we can mention it as a meiocyte, right? So for 1 mark may be asked, what is meiocytes, right? Meiocytes are the cells which are involved in the process of this meiosis, right? So meiosis which helps to produce the gametes in the sexual reproduction, right? So this is what the dear students, so you can practice this flow chart, the steps involved, the steps in meiosis. So steps involved in the meiosis are meiosis first and meiosis 2. And here very important thing is, the meiosis first is a reductional cell division, because here only what happens, so according to this chart, so 46 chromosomes are reduced to 23. That's why we call it as a reductional cell division. And the second meiosis 2 is, meiosis 2, that is equational division, where the that will maintain the same to the mitosis. Here we can observe, right? So finally 4 cells are formed, and each meiosis, first or second, involved karyokinesis, which is followed by cytokinesis. Karyokinesis means here nuclear division, division of nucleus, nuclear division, and it is cytoplasmic division, cytoplasmic division. Same here also, karyokinesis and cytokinesis is takes place. So in the same way, karyokinesis includes prophase first, metaphase first, anaphase first, and telophase first. So after telophase, so it enters the cytokinesis first. We can mention it as cytokinesis first, right? So here also you can mention, and it enters next after telophase. Cytokinesis is once over. So in the meiosis also the same stages we can mention: prophase 2, yes, next one is prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, and telophase 2. So these are the steps, so of sub phases of meiosis 2 we can consider, right? So after telophase 2, so cytokinesis 2 is takes place. Finally 4 cells will be formed. Okay, thank you students for observing this one. So try to practice this flow chart. This flow chart is very important, and try to practice it for your memory, so you can use the tricks. So here these are the serial wise L, Z, P and D2, like this, L, Z, P and D2. So in this way you should remember, and these details we will discuss in the next video. Thank you students.